Tape script 11.4. Shakespeare?
Dad, can you help me with my English homework?
Sure. What's it on?
We're doing Romeo and Juliet.
Ah, that's funny. I was listening to a radio programme on Shakespeare in the car today about how he might not have actually written the plays.
You're kidding?
No. Do they ever talk about that at school?
No.
Well, I think there have always been theories that Shakespeare can't have written them, and to be honest, I did find this programme quite convincing, even though I haven't read any of his plays since I was at school.
But look, it says here in black and white, Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Must be true.
Not really. Don't believe everything you read. They said in this programme that no one can come up with any hard evidence that Shakespeare was a writer. There are documents referring to him, but only as an actor and a businessman. And apparently he didn't write his name like that. He spelled it in different ways. But in all his signatures, it's Shakespeare. S-H-A-K-S-P-E-R.
That's funny, actually, because I can never remember if there's an E on the end of his name or not. He could just have been even worse at spelling than I am.
No, that's not possible, Jake. But some people argue that Shakespeare can't have had the education you'd need to write all those plays. There's so much world knowledge in them. Well, you must know that from having to work out all the references, to history, law, music, Italian culture, all the foreign languages in them. But Shakespeare was from a pretty ordinary background, So at best, he must have gone to the local grammar school and left at 16. He never went to university.
Really? But weren't universities just for aristocrats in those days anyway? And didn't they study weird subjects too? Latin, grammar and astrology. Ugh.
Yeah, well, of course you're right. Very few people did go in those days. And yes, ordinary people weren't allowed to go.
But couldn't he have found out all that information for himself some other way?
What, on the internet?
Yeah, ha. All right, it wouldn't have been so easy.
And the other thing is, there's nothing in the plays about Shakespeare's own background. Stratford. Stuff from his own life.
Well, writers do make things up when they're writing, Dad.
Yeah, but there's always something that comes from their own life. With Shakespeare, nothing we can see. And this I did find amazing. Apparently, Shakespeare's own daughters couldn't read or write.
Oh.
Not what you'd expect from a literary genius, is it?
So, who do these people reckon must have written these plays, then?
What was his name? Edward somebody. De Vere, I think. The Earl of Oxford.
Is there any proof?
Not really, but they said there's a lot in the plays that's similar to events in his life. And being an aristocrat, he would have had the right background, university, lots of foreign travel.
And was he definitely a writer then?
Well, apparently there are lots of documents referring to him as a writer of great poems and plays, but there isn't a single play published in his name.
Right. Well, at least I can forget this homework now.
What do you mean?
Well, they can't expect me to write an essay on Shakespeare's style if they can't even prove he wrote this play, can they?
I don't think they'll buy that argument at school. Remember, it's only a theory and there's no proof that Shakespeare didn't write the plays. Sorry, Jake. Come on, let's have a look at what you've got to write.